Yo, what's up, my fellow virgins? Your boy, like 6 hosts can never take a motherfucker loss. Today we will react to TJ Love fights. This nigga always, he not glazing, I ain't gonna lie. This nigga a real nigga, he know what he talking about. But today we will react to why former featherweights dominate at lightweight. Let's keep it a beam. The only reason why they be dominating because these niggas got cut weight. You know what I mean?
Literally.
Let's keep it a beam. These niggas probably, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's really all it is.
My mans, he watch UFC, but he don't like, you know what I mean? He don't really get into it like how I do.
So I'm here for the breakdown. You know what I'm saying? Firsthand. You know what I'm saying? Because this guy knows UFC for real.
Oh, shit.
Dominating at lightweight. By far the most successful move in the UFC is from featherweight to lightweight. We've seen this phenomenon on full display these past couple of cards. Just a couple weeks ago, we saw Max Holloway, former featherweight champion, overwhelm longtime lightweight contender Dustin Poirier. His last outing with a great show of speed and power. And then weeks before that, we saw Ilia Topuria literally flatline.
Y'all niggas know me. I ain't glazing Topuria, but like he already is a lightweight. Like look at him. Like
one of the greatest lightweights ever, to show how successful his transition from featherweight to lightweight has been. And ironically enough, those two lightweight greats that I just mentioned are also former featherweights. Charles Oliveira fought 11 times at featherweight, and during that stretch missed weight 4 times before taking the hint that he was way too big for this weight class and moved up. Dustin Poirier similarly fought his first 11 fights in the UFC before running into the featherweight phenom at the time, Conor McGregor, and moving up after that fight. Of course, speaking of Conor McGregor, he's probably the first big move from featherweight to lightweight in the UFC, as he famously won the belt by knocking out Aldo and then eventually moved up to lightweight to claim the belt from Eddie Alvarez to become champ in those divisions.
And
though he didn't win, Alexander Volkanovski looked really good at lightweight and especially strong against
Volk was whooping Volk at weight.
Makhachev. Is that his last name?
Yeah, I'm fried. I'm gonna stop talking.
Islam Makhachev in their first fight and silenced everyone saying that he was going to be too small. If we look at the top 10
I ain't gonna lie, I was
lightweight
one of them niggas saying he was too small.
You fried.
weight rankings, 4 of those guys, including the champion, are former featherweights, which is insane. So in this video, I wanted to explore this phenomenon of the featherweight to lightweight move and
that shit crazy, bro. Look how different he looked. Like
really see why this move is so successful.
You can see his bone.
All right, reason number 1, pretty much every featherweight is just a lightweight cutting 10 more pounds.
You know
Everyone is cutting a lot of weight in the UFC in all weight classes, but it seems like featherweights take it to a whole new level. All of the guys I mentioned previously have all killed themselves to make 145. Ilia Topuria's weight cut was so bad that he moved up to lightweight permanently, even though he was probably going to dominate the featherweight division for a very long time. Similarly, Max has also permanently moved up to lightweight and in the past has looked like a dead man walking, trying to make weight at 145. It's mind-boggling seeing Max in front of Dustin at 155 because he looks definitely bigger than him. And I think another crazy fact
100%.
is that when he was supposed to fight Khabib in 2018, he was medically stopped for trying to cut to lightweight too fast. Like previously mentioned, in the 11 times Charles fought at 145, he missed weight 4 times and by a lot on some occasions. Dustin Poirier said on the Joe Rogan podcast that at 145, he would walk around as big as 190 sometimes. Volkanovski was 6'8", 290 pounds when he was playing rugby or whatever Joe Rogan says. And finally, there's these famous pictures of Conor at 145 where he cut so much weight, he literally looked like a different person. So another question you may ask is why so many featherweights are having to kill themselves to make 145? Why don't they just start fighting at 155? So the average man in shape is probably around 5'9", 180 pounds, which in UFC weight class terms,
this nigga start getting real logical with this shit.
Means that person is probably going to cut to 155. This is why 155 is just packed with competition, because there's just more people in the world that size and has historically been the most stacked division. So some guys are forced to cut even more weight to try to find success at 145. So when these quote-unquote featherweights find some success at that division but decide that the weight cut is way too much and go up to lightweight, the transition is relatively easy, at least physically. And I don't have the stats, but anecdotally, being way too big for a weight class and moving up seems like a more successful move than a fighter that is trying to put on weight to move up to the next division. Take Israel Adesanya, for example. Back in 2021, he did a side quest at light heavyweight and tried to be champ and weighed in underweight at 201.5 pounds. And that lighter weight really showed itself in the fight as he got bodied by the bigger, stronger guy in Jan
Damn,
Blachowicz.
that was crazy.
In contrast, Alex Pereira was killing himself to try to make 185, and recently weighed in as big as 240, which is actually unreal. So when he finally moved up to light heavyweight, he's found a ton of success and has, relatively speaking, looked much healthier at this weight class. So going back to the featherweights that have moved up to lightweight, physically, they're probably just cutting less weight and are fighting at their more natural weight class rather than trying to bulk up into a weight class they don't belong to. None of them are undersized, and some of them even look bigger than longtime lightweights. So of course, physically, this transition from 145 to 155 will always be so successful. So reason number 2 is, of course, speed. Physically, most featherweights are good at this division, but even though they...
Like, I don't even think it's speed. I just think it's really technique and foot positioning for certain people. You just find that strength, you just find it.
It is a factor, though.
Get
let's see what he said.
Bigger, they still oftentimes retain their speed. Granted, Max fought an older Dustin Poirier, but he was still running laps around Dustin, and Dustin just could not defend the quick, straight punches Max was throwing out there. Similarly, Max was picking apart Justin Gaethje with the speed. And everyone talks about the power of Ilia Topuria because, of course, it does crack pretty much every chin, but you also have to give credit to his speed. Even when you watch the Holloway knockout in slow-mo, that left hook looks insanely fast. And of course, Charles had no idea where the hell that right hand came from. And Conor McGregor's finishing sequence over Eddie Alvarez was so smooth and so quick. This should be only a 10-pound difference, but damn, does the speed taper off between 145
he got a good point now.
and
He
155.
just broke it down.
Justin Gaethje, Armand Charles, and other longtime lightweights are all good, don't get me wrong, but they have never displayed the same speed as the featherweights today. Maybe the only lightweight that has shown featherweight speed is Rafael Fiziev, and it's really because a lot of people are suggesting that he should go down to featherweight to find more success since he's on the smaller side of lightweights. They say speed kills, and we have definitely seen that out of Max Holloway and Ilia Topuria. And finally, reason number 3 is skill. And this might be a controversial take, I don't know, but it just seems like the top featherweights are more skilled than the top lightweights. See, as you go up in the weight classes in the UFC, the skill conversely goes down. Flyweights and bantamweights are insanely skilled and quick. And then on the opposite end, you have heavyweights, which a vast majority of heavyweights have like zero ground game. As you go up, there's way more reliance on power and sheer strength than there is skill. That's why the lighter weight classes have to be insanely skilled, because it's not like you can lose 90% of the fight and just come back with one giant punch. And you'd think the difference between featherweight and lightweight in terms of skill wouldn't be too crazy since it's only a 10-pound difference, but I think there's a solid skill gap between the two divisions. The most skilled guy in the division in his first title defense went band for band, skill for skill with a featherweight in Volkanovski. Granted, Volk is insanely skilled himself. Charles and Armand are also very skilled, but outside of that, I think the skill of the top lightweights just don't really compare well with the top featherweights or the featherweights that have moved up recently. Justin Gaethje is fun to watch, but he's never shown the skill of a guy like Ilia Topuria or Max Holloway, so when Max Holloway moved up to fight him, Max picked him apart until he put this cherry on top. The same can be said for practically every fighter below him in the rankings. Lightweight, I think, is really the first division going up the weight classes where you have a ton of guys at the top that rely on sheer power alone. Again, the more a weight class can rely on power, the less skilled the division becomes, and lightweight is the first weight class where a lot of guys have one-punch KO power. We've seen that power at featherweight sometimes, but lightweight is where we see a lot of guys rely on it. Case in point, Michael Chandler. Dude has the worst IQ on the planet and has some atrocious striking when he has someone hurt.
Quick question. So, what do you think you see more of in the lighter weight classes? Like knockouts, submissions?
The way how you explain it is making me like, what the fuck is you talking about? But I understand where you're coming from. Like, lightweight, you see more like, I don't know, I feel like in lightweight, if it was like a percentage of like knockouts, submissions, and decisions, I say knockouts like 75%, 85%.
Okay.
But you got TKOs too. So like it's like everything is the same, but everything is really different. But submissions, I don't really see too many submissions too much.
Yeah.
But it really depends on the fighters, the weight class, the fighting style. So you really can't like give out that crazy ratio because it's mixed martial arts.
Right.
You feel me? You could win by getting choked out, you breaking your leg, you fucking stubbed your toe, you got like you feel me? Like the fight can stop at any moment. So it's like it's kind of different. You can't really. I mean, that's like saying, yo, is how many niggas be going into decision in boxing? How many niggas be getting knocked out?
Yeah.
It depends on the fighter. You mean?
In fact, let us know in the comments as well.
But he got real close to getting the title and has been a top-ranked guy for a long time because occasionally he can pull this or this out of his ass. Lightweight has some skilled guys at the top for sure, but recently, whenever a top skilled featherweight moves up and fights a top lightweight, they've shown they can either hang with the best, outclass them, or completely decimate them. Looking at lightweight today, I think the ironic thing is that it's probably going to be dominated by former featherweights again. For a solid time, lightweight had Charles and Dustin on top of the rankings, and now I think Max and Ilya are going to stay on top for some time now. I think for the future...
No, but Max, he's not fighting again this year. He broke his hand.
Oh, yeah.
A guy I would love to see go into lightweight is Diego Lopez, who is both very skilled in the stand-up and the ground, and also is massive for featherweight with a 5'11" frame. John Silva is also a guy that's very skilled and has come very big in weigh-ins. Movsar, if he ever fights again, looks like another big and skilled guy that I think could make a very successful transition to 155. Anyways, what do you guys think about the current lightweight division? Is it going to be...
I'm going to keep it a beam. It's not really wrong with UFC right now. They've been cooking.
Yeah, UFC has been great.